Welcome to Your 1%, the chat show on VOICESNVIEWS.com. Team VNV has stepped out of its home studio and we are in Chennai for an exciting chat about puppets. Do you remember those wonderful evenings you've spent outdoors as a child, perhaps in a temple or at a village fair, looking at puppet shows? They play stories from the Ramayana and the Mahabharata and tell us tall stories about Maharajas and Maharanis. Our guest today is Dr. R.Bhanumathi, who uses puppets to educate, to train and to create awareness about social issues. It is Bhanumathi's way of giving back to society. It is her 1% as a tribute to what she has received from society. Vanakkam, Bhanumathi.
Vanakkam.
It's so wonderful to be here, surrounded with all your puppets. It is as though they have a presence, it's as though they are alive.
Oh, they are all very alert now.
Do they come alive?
Yes, yes.
How do you design the features of a puppet, the costume, or what language he is going to speak, or how do you name them? Do you get inspired by situations or what is happening in the world?
Okay, there are different types or different forms of puppets. See, for example, now the glove puppet, that is different from, say, a mouth opening Muppet style puppet. This is different. So what I do is I start off with the base, the head. If you can see the head, it has just got the head and the jaw.
Yeah.
And from here I, start designing, the eyes and the nose and things like that. And I don't name it. The name comes last when I finish the costume and it's ready. So the inspiration comes from the way the character appears. The character will finish, or it will be completed only when the whole thing is designed. Say for example, now why I have named this Munuswami, because he is a character which looks similar to a character from South India or Tamil Nadu or whatever it is. He's wearing one dhoti and he's got one small shirt kind of a thing and then a moustache. And I think it just comes like that. I don't, when I start, I don't think that it's going to be like this. So the finished thing is what inspires me to give a name. Like for example, now I have named one character which with the bulging eyes and all looks very, stupid or dumb, like this one. This one I have named it as a Dumbo. In Tamil he's called Mak. Okay. Because of his huge bulging eyes and and he looks a little stupid too. The children, they love this character.
Yes.
They sort of feel that they are very close to Makku all the time. They talk to Makku and things like that. So that's how I design. These
are basic designs, and you use the same puppets for different social messages?
No, the puppets are
is it like an ensemble cast that you have and you use them for different messages?
Yeah, and I keep having more new characters. Sometime when I design, I try on a trial basis. For example, now this character is a trial basis. There are a lot of mistakes in it. So when I modified certain things, and the next one is, say, maybe Kavita or maybe Makku or maybe some other character. But each one has got a role in the sense that as part of this whole concept, Makku's idea is to talk about education and they should go to school. So I normally use Makku for school dropout program. So every character has some role in a particular concept. So that's how I design. And sometimes I design it purposely, like for example now Zippy. Zippy is a character which I have done it for a program organized by British Council, and they want these reading challenges. And Zippy is there as a cartoon character. So then he became a puppet afterwards, and this was used as an introduction part. And just to tell the children that they should read books and things like that as part of a project. So that Zippy was purposely done. But not all characters, it just emerges out of my thought process. And And at that time, I never, when I designed it, I never planned that it's going to be for this particular issue or particular concept, nothing like that. And the concept later on fits into the character. That's how I designed it.
So with these demos that you do or performances, is it a solo, or do you have you trained some of the women to do it?
Yeah, it depends on the requirement. See, what is called a talk show. I do what is called a talk show, which is to break a conventional performance. See, conventional performances, you watch a performance, you look at the character, there'll be sound, music and everything. The children are so excited, and at the end of the thing, they go home.
Yes.
Here what happens, I sit with the group of children and then I talk and I hand over my puppets to children just to, feel that the puppet is not something magic.
Yes.
They can also make a puppet and they can also manipulate a puppet and things like that. So this is a totally a different kind of program which I do. For this you require a lot of confidence, It cannot be trained like that. You have to keep doing it because you have to modulate your voice, and as for the character, the message has to be properly given. If you are very good in message and the voice modulation, you can take it up. But not many people are interested. They want to hide behind a screen, which is in a conventional thing. And they want to hide, and they are very nervous of facing the audience. Maybe even a group of kids, even nursery kids, but they are not very happy about it.
But do you have prepared scripts for with dialogue and with some songs, or do you just go unprepared and extempore according to the situation? You are able to create your demos.
No, I see when I do a training session. The training session may be minimum 2 days, 3 days, and 1 week. And during the training session, we all prepare a proper script because I train them how to prepare a script and how to write dialogues. Because in puppetry, the dialogues are very short. You can't, like a human theatre, you can even narrate about say 20 sentences, which is not possible because the attention span is so low. You want some sort of an action to be given rather than just the dialogue. Say for example, now if I'm going to talk, I'm going to say, oh, hi, hello, like that, I'm moving. And it's just opening and closing. And then she's looking at something and she's looking up. So these actions are very important in puppetry rather than just narrating a dialogue. So it's very important, especially these kind of three-dimensional puppet. This doesn't happen in shadow puppet, which is flat. So depending on the forms are different. I told you, there is this shadow form, you have marionettes, you have string form. These are the Muppet style puppets. Then you have the glove puppet. Then you have the rod puppet. So there are a variety of forms, and each form has got a particular way of moving or manipulating. We call them manipulating, which is moving. How do you move a puppet?
So you have been awarded a doctorate for your research on puppetry. Can you tell us about that journey, from how you first got interested in puppets and then how you thought you should do a thesis, right? Do a lot of research on this, and your experiences with the traditional, folk puppeteers.
Yeah, I started this. I would say my passion was way back in early 80s. I'm an environmental educationist. I was working in an organization which is devoted to nature conservation and awareness and all that. And during that time, I used to use puppets for conveying messages on nature and wildlife and all. And somebody suggested, why don't you think about doing your research or your PhD and all that. It was a very long journey, 7 years struggle in 3 universities. I couldn't get through my registration.
You were able to find somebody to guide you, because this is a totally new subject.
True. I did an integrated approach. And finally, Gandhigram Rural University near Madurai, and they was very happy to have me as a research scholar. And it was about 5 years which I took up. And I did the status of shadow puppetry and puppeteers of South India across the 4 southern states. And it's sort of a comparative study. And I did took up this as a case study approach. It's a qualitative research, a case study approach. It was very wonderful because I enjoyed going in search of puppeteers was a big challenge. And each state, though the puppet form is same, but the approach and the way they present the shows is totally different. The three states are more or less same, like Tamil Nadu, Andhra and Karnataka. Now Kerala is a very wonderful experience, because there in Kerala it is a religious ritual to the goddess.
Okay.
And they perform Kamba Ramayana every night during the season, which will start in the month of December, go on up to April. And every night they perform part of Ramayana, and minimum 7 days, and in some temples there are even 41 nights they perform. There's a group of people who are into this whole thing, and we have records of about 400 years. Research, we have got these information, and even today they are performing.
Nice.
Whereas the other three states, it all depends on the patronage. If they get a village group coming and asking them, would you like to perform, and then they will, otherwise they will not. Here it's an offering to the goddess in Kerala. So whether they like it or not, they have to perform. That's how it is. The whole custom. There are about 104 temples in Kerala, in central Kerala, Thrissur, Malappuram and Palakkad, where this performance is, and they have a permanent stage, and they perform in a place called Kavu, which is it's a sacred grove dedicated to the goddess Bhagavati, and in front of the temple there is a small place where they perform. So this has been there since it has a religious ritual, and they all feel that it's a belief that this whole puppet form will be there forever, as long as you have faith in Rama and Sita. That is a belief they have. So this is it.
What was your interaction with these artists like? I mean, were they willing to share information with you? Were they willing to teach you some of the techniques?
I'm a naturalist, so I don't use leather. I never use leather for my work, and because I was basically documenting an art form which is sort of a vanishing art form. There are very few families now left, and they are not performing. They are taken up into alternate occupation. First of all, locating them became a very big task, especially the Tamil Nadu group. They were all scattered, and most of them at that time, I'm talking about early 2003, 2004, they were all nomadic tribes. They are all nomadic tribes, but very difficult to locate. No permanent house and nothing like that. So that was first challenge. And Andhra has got the maximum number of families performing where I could meet. And there is a training center in Nimalakunta, Anantapur, where they train their own people. So they are very good artists, Andhra people. Karnataka, again, it's a sort of an isolated, they are not very close-knit group. They are all over, again scattered all over. And they are performing wherever possible, but again they are into different occupations, most of them. Even in Kerala, for example, he may be an auto driver, he may be a postman, maybe working in some place, but during the season, they all will come together and they perform these, the Kamba Ramayana through the shadow puppets. All the shadow puppets are made out of animal skin.
So have you taken any inspiration from the different techniques? Have you been able to incorporate any of the techniques in your show or in your work?
Yes. See, though my research was to locate and document, but I understood a lot of things connected with the art of puppetry, especially the manipulation part and the story narration and things like that. All these are all great storytellers, all are traditional artists. In India, it's a very ancient art, it's about 2000 years old, but unfortunately due to other mass communication which is sort of forcing them to come out of their tradition. Because we have a very high-tech cinema all over, especially South India, it's cinema world. So it's very difficult for a puppetry artist to, compete with the very modern and highly, sophisticated techniques which they are not able to understand. And again, the patronage is not giving them enough. I have realized that, and I decided that I'm not going to do what these people are doing. I'm not into performance. In fact, I'm not even known as a performer. I'm into training. So I need more people to take up. It should not stay within me.
So when did this come to you that puppetry is meant for something, for a higher purpose? The role of art is to educate people. And when did you feel that puppetry has to be taken to a greater level, not let it remain as an entertainment? But you have used it for a greater purpose.
See, as a person into communication, as a person involved in education, non-formal education, I have edge over these people because I can communicate the messages easily, and also it's very comfortable for me to convey the message rather than through a show. The show becomes, I felt a puppet show becomes a little restricted because children cannot reach out after the show. So I was not able to get a group coming with me because the monetary benefits are very low compared to a human theatre. Dramatics and all is, people are very, very happy and they go, and there is a proper a team which goes and all. Here the team I couldn't get. Even though initially I had few people interested, but they all backed out because they said the monetary thing is not sufficient for them to carry on as a livelihood. But this is totally contrast in the West. In Europe especially and in the US, they do a very good job because almost every I would say a small town has got a puppet theatre. We don't have puppet theatre in India
at all.
It's very sad, and this tradition is so old and it's been there. It's very, very ancient tradition, but we don't have a puppet theatre. We don't have. Maybe few places like Mumbai and all, they may have. Delhi also. Delhi maybe Sriram Center and similar things they are, but again it's all isolated. It's a very, very tough task. But I capitalized my skill as an educationist to bring out this whole concept from the education point of view. That is the reason why I am able to sustain. And I think that has got a better value added thing rather than doing a performance.